If you love dark, slow-burn single dad romances filled with emotional tension, quiet yearning, and the kind of love that forms in the shadows of grief, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss the next story. Tonight's story is, she came for the job interview. The single dad's daughter asked her to stay. The woman arrives 10 minutes early. That's the first thing Nathan Cole notices as he watches her step into the lobby through the glass doors. Rain clinging to the hem of her coat. Most people arrive late, or exactly on time. Early means nerves, or respect. Nathan is 41, broad-shouldered, dressed in a dark sweater that still smells faintly of sawdust and old paint. He stands from behind the reception desk of the historic estate. He manages and straightens instinctively, heart ticking faster than it should for a job interview. She removes her coat carefully, folds it over her arm, and looks around as if she's taking inventory of the space. White, late 20s, maybe early 30s. Dark hair pulled back low at her neck. Calm eyes that don't dart but don't linger either. "Hi," she says softly. "I'm Evelyn Moore." Nathan nods. "Nathan, thanks for coming." The job is simple on paper. Live-in administrative caretaker for the estate. Scheduling repairs. Managing vendors. Quiet work. Minimal contact. He needs someone organized, discreet, and not afraid of silence. What he doesn't need is distraction. They sit across from each other in the small office. Nathan asks practical questions. Evelyn answers precisely. Too precisely, almost as if she's learned how to be careful with words. "Why here?" Nathan asks finally. Evelyn hesitates. "Just a breath. I needed somewhere still." Nathan understands that more than he wants to admit. The estate used to be a family home. His wife, his daughter. Laughter echoing through hallways that now stay silent. His daughter died 3 years ago. His wife followed not long after, emotionally first, then physically. Nathan stayed. A single dad without a child. A father with nowhere to place the love he never stopped carrying. He hires her. Not because she's perfect for the job, though she is, but because when she looks at the house she doesn't look afraid of the quiet. Evelyn moves in the following week. She takes the room at the end of the hall, the one that used to belong to someone Nathan never names. She doesn't ask questions. She doesn't touch anything that isn't hers. She moves through the house like she's been taught how to be invisible. At first, their interactions are minimal. Polite greetings. Shared coffee in the mornings. Quiet dinners eaten separately. Nathan tells himself that's better. Safer. But the house changes anyway. Evelyn opens windows Nathan hasn't opened in years. She remembers which lights flicker and replaces bulbs without mentioning it. She organizes paperwork he's avoided for months. She leaves notes on the fridge reminding him to eat. Not nagging. Not invasive. Just considerate. One night, Nathan wakes from a dream he hasn't had in years. A child's laughter. A small hand slipping from his. He sits up abruptly, chest tight, breath uneven. The hallway light is on. Evelyn sits at the kitchen table, notebook open, tea untouched. She looks up immediately. "You're awake," she says gently. "I didn't mean to," Nathan starts. "You don't have to explain," she interrupts softly. Something in her voice makes him sit down across from her. They don't speak for a long moment. Then, without looking at him, Evelyn says, "There's a room in this house that still feels heavy." Nathan's jaw tightens. "My daughter," he says finally. The word tastes unfamiliar. "She died." Evelyn nods, eyes glossy but steady. "I know." He looks at her sharply. She meets his gaze. "I saw her drawings in the attic. You kept them." The confession doesn't feel like an intrusion. Feels like recognition. "I was a single dad," Nathan says quietly. "I still am. I just don't know where to put that anymore." Evelyn's voice barely rises above a whisper. "You don't have to put it anywhere tonight." That's when Nathan realizes something dangerous. He feels safe with her. The attraction doesn't arrive loudly. Instead, it settles into the spaces Nathan never learned how to protect. He starts noticing Evelyn in ways that feel uncomfortably intimate. The sound of her footsteps in the hallway in the early mornings. The way she hums softly while organizing files in the study, as if sound itself might disturb the house if it's too loud. The care she takes with everything that once belonged to someone else. as though she understands the weight of memory without being told. Nathan finds himself adjusting his schedule without realizing it. Lingering in shared spaces, drinking his coffee more slowly, choosing to eat dinner at the table instead of standing at the counter. Evelyn never comments on it. She simply joins him when he does. Some nights, they sit across from each other with no conversation at all. The silence doesn't press in the way it used to. Feels occupied. One evening, Nathan catches Evelyn standing at the threshold of the room at the end of the hall. She doesn't enter. She doesn't touch anything. She just stands there, eyes damp, hands folded loosely in front of her. "I won't go in," she says quietly without him asking. "I just wanted to acknowledge her." The words undo something in him. "You can," Nathan replies. "If you want to." She steps inside slowly, reverently. She notices the height mark still penciled faintly into the wall. The small bookshelf with its careful order. She doesn't ask questions. She doesn't cry. She simply says, "She was loved." Nathan nods, throat tight. She still is. That night, he sleeps better than he has in years. The intimacy between them deepens in subtle ways. Evelyn begins leaving small signs of care around the house. A repaired hinge, fresh flowers on the table, the faint scent of lavender in the laundry. Nathan realizes she isn't trying to replace anything. She's making room. When they cook together, their movements start to sync. Passing dishes without asking. Standing close enough to share warmth. Occasionally brushing fingers and not pulling away immediately. Neither of them names what's happening. The kiss, when it comes, feels inevitable and forbidden all at once. It's not driven by desire alone, but by recognition. Two people who understand loss in a language few others speak. When their lips meet, it's tentative, restrained, as if either one could stop it if they chose to. They don't. Afterward, they sit together on the edge of the bed, breathing steadying, hands still loosely entwined. "I don't want to take something from you that you're not ready to give," Evelyn says. Nathan exhales slowly. "You're not taking anything. I'm offering." That distinction matters. From that moment on, honesty becomes the foundation of whatever they're building. They talk about boundaries, about how grief doesn't disappear just because love shows up, about how fear doesn't mean stop, it means move carefully. Nathan tells Evelyn about the night he stopped unpacking his daughter's things, about how he froze time because moving forward felt like betrayal. Evelyn listens, then reaches for his hand. "You're not leaving her behind," she says. "You're carrying her with you." The words stay with him. When the letter arrives, cold, official, cruel in its implications, it threatens to undo everything. The suggestion that his grief makes him unfit, unstable, incapable of managing the estate cuts deeper than Nathan expects. Old doubts resurface. Old guilt. He pulls away. Evelyn feels the distance immediately. She doesn't confront him right away. She gives him space for exactly one day, then places the letter between them at the kitchen table. "They don't get to rewrite your story," she says firmly. Nathan's voice is quiet. "They'll try. Then we don't let them." For the first time, Nathan allows someone else to stand beside him instead of behind him. Evelyn helps gather documents, organize timelines, prepare responses. She doesn't speak for him, but she supports him fully. When the challenge dissolves quietly, Nathan realizes how much he relied on her presence. Not as a shield, but as grounding. That's when the fear returns. Not of loss, of permanence. When Evelyn begins packing, Nathan understands immediately what she's doing. Protecting herself. Protecting him. "I didn't come here to stay forever," she says. "I came to help you find solid ground again." Nathan steps closer. "I don't want solid ground without you on it." She studies him carefully. "And if loving me hurts?" He answers without hesitation. "Then it hurts. I'm done living around pain instead of through it." Evelyn stays. Time moves differently after that. Seasons change. The house breathes easier. The room at the end of the hall becomes a place of memory, not mourning. Evelyn never tries to fill it, but she never avoids it either. One quiet morning, Nathan realizes something profound. Being a single dad didn't end when his child did. It transformed. It taught him how to love with depth instead of fear. How to hold loss and joy at the same time. How to choose life without forgetting the past. And when Nathan looks at Evelyn, standing in the doorway, sunlight catching her hair. He knows this love wasn't a replacement. It was a continuation.